We have a core belief in Farmington, it's equity matters. We believe that we remove opportunity barriers, achievement barriers, so that we level the playing field for all kids. I am privileged to be the principal at Irving A. Robbins Middle School. Our work at IAR complements Farmington's vision for equity, and we have adopted the equity framework. This year we're focused on three major things. The first one is school climate and culture, the second one is social emotional learning, and the third one is community engagement. You're going to hear a bit from our stakeholders, and they're going to let you know how we make this equity work come to life at IAR.
Equity matters at IAR, equity matters everywhere. When you're thinking about teaching and learning, you really have to approach it with an equity lens. You have to make sure that all students are represented in learning experiences, because students learn best when they're connected to their learning, and how can you connect if you don't see yourself in the learning?
My name is Holly Hannon, and my daughter Mary Hannon is an 8th grader here at IAR. Personally, I feel a lot of gratitude that I live in a district that has similar values to myself and my family. I believe that a diverse education is the best education, and I want my children to learn in an environment where they're hearing different perspectives, and they're not only listening, but they're welcomed and encouraged, and there's a lot of discussion, and I think that leads to much better learning, and it leads to better character development.
One way we embody the Equity Matters core value is to make sure to value and validate each student for who they are, both as the person and the learner.
Equity and SEL are inextricably linked. You really can't have one without the other. SEL, standing for social emotional learning, in my mind is the foundation. Equity is an overarching vision. It's the idea of creating a positive environment where everyone is aware of themselves, aware of their emotions, feels connected to the school environment, so that they then are available for learning.
The mood meter gives lots of choices for different adjectives that kids would use to describe their mood. I started the year by using the mood meter every single day, where kids would just say what color they were. And then we moved into actually defining their mood. So they started selecting more and more specific adjectives. And one thing that I'm pretty excited about is I'm working with the counselor to talk about stress relieving techniques with kids and stress avoiding techniques. And I'm really excited to start that work.
I believe that social consciousness is something that we're trying to instill in students. And when I was in school, teachers would say, this is what you have to learn and how you have to learn it, and memorize these facts. And now we're trying to teach kids, what are you seeing? How is it making you feel? And is there something that you think you could do to improve that? So it's about teaching kids how to think for themselves, how to find their truth, and then how to contribute and participate and be upstanding members of society.
There's a current rise definitely in our LGBT community wanting to have a larger voice. It's really wonderful to see that they're really willing to be open now. They no longer want to quietly pass through middle school. So in the past, I've done faculty presentations about how best to support our students in this community, and there's such great advocates in the school, so we work together as a team to really find the best way for our students' voices to be heard.
Our equity leadership group is focused on the equity piece, so making sure that everyone is treated fairly and given what they need to be successful.
My name is Gina Guglietta, and I am a part of the equity leadership group. I think what's empowered me the most is the amount of opportunities we get at IAR, and I think that those opportunities need to stretch through Farmington school systems.
The process that we go through is we usually have a proactive circle about the issue.
In these circles, we have a chance to be honest and be open so that we can understand the issue better.
Basically, students can get their ideas and opinions out without being judged, and which is really important because some students could have so many great ideas, but then they just don't get the chance to open up and talk about them. We could be missing out on so much.
In these circles, we also get to look at other people's perspectives. Then we can see how other people feel on these issues.
And then we try to come up with some action steps of things that we can do, pulling in maybe some speakers or other adults in the building or the community that are experts on the issue. We also do more research on it. We find out what other schools are doing.
And so just the amount of opportunities and activities that you can do is what gets your brain going oh, I think I want to do that.
The way we're working on communicating our message of Equity Matters is in community partnerships with parents and teachers and students, both in the classroom and out.
So I try to make sure equity is at the center of all my practices in classroom by just getting to know all of my students. Individually, try to figure out what their needs are, a little bit about what their background is. I have a lot of places to connect with students, and I try to find those places so I can support them in the way that they need to be supported.
There's a number of forums that have gone on, especially this summer, where students mobilized when we knew there was a dialogue to be had.
I was very surprised and pleased that so many families came because people wanted to engage in this national conversation about race in our country.
And students were able to have the space to tell their stories, to be good listeners, to show humility, vulnerability, and transparency.
Learning those personal stories really helped the teachers at IAR to revisit our curriculum and think about our purpose behind our work.
A colleague and I are working on doing community conversations around books. Specifically, we'll be reading a book about unconscious bias, and our plan is to open that up to parents and faculty so that we can start to have a conversation about it.
So me and my peers have created an inclusive community here at IAR by doing certain activities to include all cultures and lifestyles.
It's not only been a welcoming and inclusive place for my children, but it has been for me and my husband as well. It's very inclusive to families.
Farmington has so many different cultures and unique lifestyles that need to be known here, and just to make everyone feel like this is where I belong.
I think that what makes us so courageous to do things like this is we know that teachers have our back, and we know that there's somebody always going to be there to support us while we're doing these things. And I think that's really important because having teachers that really continue to push you and work towards the same goal, it's really amazing.
I just really want people to know that I'm an ally here to help promote positive change.
Right now, at a time we're divided and we have to come together. There's got to be a time where everyone works together. And when you work together, you're more successful. And that's how your school becomes better.
I just want to thank all of my teachers for being there for me and all the other students in this school, because I know there's a lot of other kids that have it worse than me, and the teachers are always there to support them and help them get through what they need.
When I can count on you and you can count on me, what we have is simple: the Irving Robbins family. So I wish you a year full of growth, learning, and fun. And remember, at IAR, we are a community of one.